I'm Dylan, and welcome to Twisted Wrench Garage. What's up, guys, and thanks for joining me on another episode of Twisted Wrench Garage. Back to work on the old Dodge out here. We're getting really close to being finished with it. I think maybe this week we're going to have it fired up and running. Definitely going to be a nail-biting moment for sure. We're back out here today. Finished putting it together, obviously. I've got some more stuff to take care of. We got to get the radiator in with the fan shroud, the fan hoses. I've got our accelerator bracket here. It's all painted up and looking nice. We're ready to put that back on so we can start hooking up all of that. We need to get all of our wiring sorted, get our belts on. I also got to replace that positive cable going to that starter. I mean, we got other things to take care of that are not including for the engine, like wiring up the rings on the headlights, the running lights on the fenders. We need to change the U-joints and the drive shafts front and back. What else was there? I've got a couple power steering hoses I need to swap over as well. We'll try to get those taken care of as well today. But yeah, we're getting really close to firing this old girl back up. So let's get in there and let's get to work on finishing this whole girl up. Alright, first things first, we need to pull a couple of these 9/16 bolts out of this intake so we can get our throttle bracket put into place. It's going to go into these two here. Alright, got those free. The carburetor is going to be put on. I'm going to put the carburetor on after I get this wiring and stuff hooked up to these oil cinders, because that carburetor in the way, it can be a pain in the butt to get to them. So we'll pull these two bolts out and we'll be able to put our throttle bracket back in. So you guys will have to let me know what you guys have been thinking about the little time lapse that I've been doing. I kind of changed it up a little bit. Instead of using just the record function and then just speeding it up from there, I've been using the time lapse to speed up the video, and it does make speeding up the video in those sections a lot easier, I'm not gonna lie. That was definitely a cool feature that I was able to take advantage of. Just kind of curious what you guys think about it. Get these tightened back up and then we'll be good to go on that. And I think from there, I might start hooking up some of this wiring. Alright, our throttle bracketry is all hooked back up. That's for our kick down. That's going to get connected to that there, so we can go ahead and do that now, so we can get that rod out of our way. This will come off like this. Come on. Oh wait, hold on a second. I don't remember how this goes. Go like that? Pretty sure. Yeah, it goes like that. That one goes there. That'll connect to your carburetor, and that's what actuates your kick down. And that'll all be hooked up over here. We can double check this, make sure it's all connected right. I'll double check, make sure. But let's see. See if I can get some of these hoses and wires down out of here. Now that we're ready to start installing some of this stuff. Oh, pour water. Dang it. We'll set those over there for now, I guess. Get some of our wiring out being tangled in it. There's our coil. Probably could have cleaned that coil mounts up. Matter of fact, that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get this coil mount cleaned up, make it look a little better, and I'll be right back. I got that plug on the little tri-prong plug for the oil pressure light and cinder. Put this on. Slides over like that. We got our two distributor plugs. That one Or do I want to do it this way? Maybe we do it this way. And both on the front side. Then we got this little plug here, this little plug there. That, let's something over here. This coil's ended up mounting right here. Probably like that. And we got, okay, so once that coil mount dries, I just went ahead and threw a coat of black paint on it, wire brushed it, then that'll get mounted there. So we're good to go there. Now that we've got our wiring sort of laid out where it's going to be, we can go ahead and hook up this over here. So let me get moved and we'll get that hooked up. Alright, we just got to hook up these 3 plugs to this alternator. One of them is going to be a bolt style. So got that sitting here. Get a socket for that. Alright, coil is dry enough. The coil mount is. Go ahead and put that on. That'll be good. Get our bolt. I just dropped way down into the depths of this empty hole. Where'd it go? Alright, it's carburetor time. Got that coil all mounted up. Get this engine plate off. I just had this and the spacer as well as a big paper towel covering up all these openings so nothing fell down inside of it while I was working on it. Get all these free. I should be able to get them by hand now. Get our engine plate off. That paper towel I had on there, that was just to keep it protected. I need to go grab the new gasket for the bottom, and I've got one for the top as well. So let me get those, I'll bring it back. All right, I got my new gasket. This is for this new adapter, because this, like I said, had the wrong adapter on it before. It just had a spacer, which is just a spacer for a square bore, which is that shape. What we needed is we needed a spread bore, 2 square bore adapter. So I got the new gasket here. So we'll just slap that on. So now let's slap our carburetor, well, not our carburetor, let's slap our adapter on. It's gonna go like so. Then our carburetor gasket. There we go. Bam. Alright, now we're ready for the carburetor. Alright, now we can put our washers and nuts back on. So now I'm going to be snugging these down and do an X pattern to get my pressure nice and even. Again, like I said, you don't want to snug these down super tight, because you will be very upset at yourself if you snap one of these ears off. I've done it. So, be very careful. Alright, that's good enough. I'm going to say that's good. So, let's see if we can get our fuel line hooked up here. And there we go. Just need to tighten that clamp. Alright, we're going to throw our belts on now, starting with our alternator AC belt. I'm going to have to loosen that up some more. That way we can move this. AC. There we go. And our alternator, same deal. Take off the alternator. Get it on the crank first. There we go. Not quite tighten that one up yet. Then we're going to throw our power steering belt on. That's going to go in the second groove from the front. And there's our belts. I'm not going to tighten this up right yet because I do need to get our fan put on here. So let me go grab the radiator and we'll start slapping that in here. We got our radiator. Let's get this down in here. Alright, I do need to get these first row of bolts in. I need to put those back in. There it is. Just barely putting this first one in. That way we can set the radiator down on top of these and it'll sit where it's supposed to be sitting. That way you're not having to try to hold it up here while trying to get the bolts started. So, get that one in, that one in. Now we don't have to hold it anymore. We can throw our other two bolts in. There we go, now we're on there. So we just need to tighten those up. Okay. So, got all that put on here. I'm going to go ahead and get you guys on a time lapse while I get the fan on. I'll start getting these hoses on, tighten up these belts, and keep going from there. Alright guys, that's it for today. Got quite a bit done, I feel like. We got radiator fully installed. We got only thing we got to do on it is get the upper and lower radiator hoses on. I got the transcooler lines hooked up down at the bottom. We got the carburetor reinstalled with all of its vacuum lines, new gaskets, fuel lines are hooked up. We got our new vacuum lines for our PCV and for our brake booster, as well as a new vacuum line for our distributor for its vacuum advance. We got our new belts on. All that's adjusted. I've got a new ground right here installed from the frame to the engine. Then I've got our new one going back to the battery reinstalled. Our new positive is running down to the starter. It's just not hooked up right now. That's something I could take care of later. Timing is still a little loose right now. We're gonna get it fired up, then I'll set the timing and lock it into place. I'll probably set it to around 10 degrees before top dead center, I believe. I think that's what these call for from the factory. It's like 8 to 10. But you know for sure, just leave it down in the comments down below. Yeah, we just got a few more things to take care of, and this thing will be ready for its first test fire. Definitely exciting. I do have a little paper here just to remind myself and anyone else who's here at the shop that there is no oil or filter on this and no coolant in it. That'll be something I'll come out tomorrow and go ahead and finish up. Like I said, we just got a few other things to take care of. We'll be ready to test fire this, but like I said, we're out of time for today. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, what's up, guys? We're back again on another day. We're back out here. We're gonna finish putting all the stuff back on this new engine here. I've already gone ahead today and I went ahead and hooked up the starter with the new starter wire, starter positive wire, and then got our igniter wire hooked on there. Went ahead and threw our new oil filter on as well. I went ahead and cut some pipe to actually make like some adapters to go in between the header flanges that we have to the 2 1/4 inch pipe from the factory, from that about right where the transmission is back. That we're just gonna leave that be. Got those sections. I need to take them up to an exhaust shop, let them expand those out for me, or at least one of them, because one of them I need like a 9.5 inch section, and the other piece is just a little short section, so I can probably snag that up at the parts store. The only thing left we have to do now is we have radiator hoses to throw on. I got to throw the plug wires back on, throw some oil, some coolant in this. I think it's ready to start, honestly. Throw the battery back in, set the timing, etc., etc. But less jibber jabber, let's get into it. Guys, we're going with a Rotel T6. We found it has the most zinc based off of the manufacturer's specifications. We're still going to add zinc to it, but we're going to throw this in. Oh, I've already popped it open. I had to oil the oil filter. We'll get this topped off. We're going to pour some of this in, and we'll mix that zinc additive in with this jug. Supposed to have all the vitamins and nutrients a healthy engine needs. This funnel is going slow. Alright, got enough of that in there for now. I'm going to grab my zinc additive. Pour it directly into this jug and shake it up like a lot of people do on the YouTubes. Give me 1 second, I'm gonna grab that. Alright, we're just using this Rizlone Hyper Lube Zinc ZDP supplement. Throw that in here. Good enough. Set that there for now. Good enough. Let's finish topping her off. I was honestly expecting that ZDDP to zinc additive to be a little thicker. Like a Lucas, but yeah, just like oil, I guess. I don't know. You know, no, just leave it down in the comments. You've used it before, have had good luck with it. We're trying it out now, so. And this is just 4 quarts plus what I just threw in. So that should put me at like a 5, almost 5. Dribble, dribble. Little drippage out of that little rubber silicone thing. I think I lifted it up a little too high. Oh well, wipe it off. That's good enough. Let me grab a rag and let's check this, see where we're sitting. Also be able to wipe off the drips that I made. I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but when we put this engine together, when we put the oil pan on, we actually had to change the dipstick. Because a car and a truck dipstick are different. The truck actually runs through the side of the pan, like on the inside, and goes down to the bottom, whereas a car just kind of goes down, and it's a lot shorter. So, let's see where we're at there. Yeah, we're about a quart low still. Let me go grab our other jug. Throw a little more in there. Now keep in mind I didn't fill the oil filter on this. Because where it is, there's a brace, the brace that goes in between the transmission and the block, that is actually in the way. I had to remove that and then like turn it sideways just to even get it in there. So more than likely it'll take another probably half quart or so once we get it full and it's on the full reading. Once we fire it up, that oil pumps into that oil filter, we'll have to add a little more oil to it. So I'm going to stop there and double check again. Alright, we're almost at that full mark. Add a little more. Probably about a half quart worth. We'll call that. We'll check it. Still going down. Doo-doo-doo. Alright, we're just a little over the full. That's good for me. We'll check it again after we fire it up for the first time and make sure we're good and topped off. Let me grab this. Set this here. I'm going to shove this into this. Then we just pop that bad boy back on there. Good to go. Now we just need to move on to the antifreeze. didn't know. Turn these things on their sides. It won't burp on you. It makes it easier to pour. The rest of that can stay in there. It's pretty gross in there. That was some of the leftover from when I drained it. There's some gunk down at the bottom. I don't want that going into our new cooling system, so I just got the coolant out. Here we go. Here we go. Here, I can show you that sideways tricks works. Got a little on before I make a giant mess. Get this foil out of my way. All right. Turn on its side, and then just slowly start to pour. That looks a little more watered down than the other one. We'll have to run it and get the air bubbles out of this system, but that's good to go. I think we're pretty much ready to fire, other than that exhaust, which I can take care of, and then it won't be super loud on your ears. So let's see if I can get that taken care of. All right, guys, we got everything hooked up. The distributor, like I said, is still loose. We'll need to set the timing. Everything else is tightened up. I went ahead and double checked everything. The exhaust isn't hooked up right now, so it's going to be really loud if it fires up. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to try to fire this old girl up with the new engine for the very first time. Let me fix my hat. All right, guys. Okay, if you guys can tell, with a little bit of fidgeting, a little bit of timing control, a little bit of whizzy-do on the carburetor, we got this old girl fired back up with this new engine, and man, does it sound good. It's really loud with that exhaust not hooked up, but we'll get that finished by at least the end of the week. Ben should be here Thursday or Friday to come pick up the truck. I'm sure he's gonna be really excited. So, that's it for today. Like I said, we'll see you guys tomorrow. What's up, guys? And we're here again on another day of Twisted Wrench Garage. Still working on the '84 Dodge, but we're getting really close to sending it home. Ben's in town. We've got a few things done today. I didn't really set up the camera to do a whole bunch of recording because we really were just kind of cleaning up the bed of the truck, kind of sorting through some things. We're gonna get to work on getting it timed and getting the carburetor tuned. That's probably gonna be tomorrow. We're running out of time today because we were just, you know, doing things that are gonna have to be done cleaning wise, so he can get the truck out of here. But yesterday I came out, wanted to get the exhaust sorted out, get the exhaust hooked up so we could run the truck, hear it running without being super loud, so I can make sure that there was no engine noises. There was an engine noise. It wasn't a bad one though. We found it. What it turned out to be is on this particular engine there was a windage tray in the oil pan, and what that is it's actually used to help prevent bubbles being produced in your oil pan when the crank dips into the oil and whenever you're under hard acceleration, because that can cause you to lose oil pressure. So yesterday, after I got the exhaust all set up and hooked up, I had to take the oil pan back off of it. Luckily, my buddy Mike was able to get started on it before I got back out here. I had to leave and go get the kids and had to come back out here, and I stayed later last night to make sure we got that all up and going. But what we found is that, like I said, it was hitting the windage tray. Let me show you what we found. And you guys can see these little marks right here. The crankshaft was just spinning and tapping that on both sides. There, right there, there, and there. It didn't take any chunks out of it. It was just scraping it. My guess is that it was just squeezed in. But I mean, these are generally designed for race engines and race purposes. That black stuff that you're seeing there, my assumption is that came out of the intake manifold, because that is legit the only thing we used from that old motor. So we did do another oil service on it again. Hopefully that got all that stuff cleared out. But now we got it all nice and running good. No more little tapping from that being our culprit there. Today we came out, we cleaned the bed of the truck out, got all the scrap metal thrown in the scrap. We're keeping certain parts for other projects, for like maybe black pearl or something other, you know, maybe another truck Ben may pick up later in the future, who knows. But we got the bumpers on. We had a radiator hose blowout earlier this morning when we got here, because I guess maybe I forgot to tighten the lower radiator hose, but it popped off the water pump, so we had to get that sorted out. So we got that sorted out. Using a temp set of gauges to check for oil pressure and temperature. Both of those are good. We got good cooling, we got good oil pressure. The only thing that isn't working on that dash cluster of gauges is going to be the gas gauge, and that's going to be the fuel cylinder in the tank. And I'll probably go up to Wichita and help Ben get that taken care of whenever he goes to get the bed pulled off, and we'll replace all of that stuff in there. But yeah, we're getting there. I just wanted to give you guys an update as to what's going on. Let me show you guys what the truck looks like with those bumpers back on. It didn't have a back bumper to begin with, but Ben was able to snag one. So it's gonna be kind of hard to see because it's up against the garage. As you can tell, we had that little radiator hose blow out, so we pulled it forward so we could fix it without having to lay in the antifreeze. But man, it's getting there. Looking more like a truck. The bumper is a little meh, but it's all right. But tell you what, Ben wanted to fire it up and show you guys what it sounds like with the exhaust hooked up, so let's do it. Fires right up. Oh. Of course I say that. As you guys can see, we're starting to build a little temperature earlier. We got it up to about the middle mark. We got decent oil pressure. That's still going up. This gauge seems to work kind of slow, but it gets to about the middle area. As you can tell, the gas gauge isn't working, and it does appear that we're charging, so we're good there. Still need to set the timing. It's pretty close, but it's not exact. We got a header leak on this driver's side. I'm almost wondering if we need to double gasket these up. Yeah, it still needs to be tuned and the timing adjusted is still not quite right. But we're getting there. So I just thought I would give you guys an update. We'll be back out tomorrow. We're gonna do some wiring for some lights and those kind of things. And I'll probably show you guys what we're doing tomorrow. All right, guys, we're back home. We're gonna take care of that white face gauge kit that I put off like a month ago, because I pulled the gauge cluster out to go ahead and start doing this, and then I realized that I had to miss, and I had to start working on what was going on with that. So completely put this project off. So we're gonna go ahead and get into that, get this taken care of. So I'm gonna get you guys on a time lapse, and we're gonna get to work.
Perfect. Perfect.
Alright guys, as you can tell, we got the gauge cluster all slapped back together. I got this fancy cool little tool here, this Zodiac power probe that one of my subscribers set me up with. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm gonna go ahead and I've got it hooked up. I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like all lit up. Yeah, let's turn this light off. Give me 1 second. Turn that off. Turn this one off. And then here we go. Give you a good view. Oh, I gotta get it in the right spot. Come on now. There we go. 1, 2, boop. I really like the way these white face gauges look in these trucks. It's going to look really good in the truck. So what we need to do now is we're actually going to get our lights turned back on. We're going to pull over that gauge overlay, and we're going to paint the silver all around the trim and make it look like new again. So we'll get you back into a quick little time lapse while we get that taken care of.
She's home.
All right, guys, as you can tell, we got her all loaded up. We brought her to my house because he's going to be leaving out of here in the morning or tonight to go home. I just wanted to show you guys what those white face gauges look like. I mean, you guys can see them on the on my red truck Ramona on that video when I did that job. But there's those white face gauges. Looking really good in here. Definitely made a lot of changes in here and a lot of difference just with that little bit of stuff. But you know, I thought I would share a little bit more of the trip for you guys. Do appreciate you guys tuning in and following along with this whole build. I know it's been a lot of videos in the making, but you know, that's how you get to this point, you know. But again, I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next video. There goes Big Blue. It's going home. Spend the rest of its life with its new owner. We'll probably see that truck again in the future when we go to help him do some more stuff to it when it comes to like the fuel gauge and pulling the sending unit and probably suspension work. There's a lot of stuff that we could do, but there it goes.